Again, I want to wish everyone Selamat Hari Raya Aidilfitri. Yeah, and this is my Hari Raya. What I did during the Hari Raya, I always come up with a new ideas to write to my colleagues, to write to my students, wishing them about Hari Raya. So every year I tend to come up with different ideas. So what happened for this Hari Raya? Yeah, I came up with pantun, my electronic card Hari Raya. So whenever I wish my friends, my relative, I send them electronic Hari Raya card. So due to the current situation of COVID, I came up with the creative ideas, uh, sending to my colleague, my relative, my acquaintances a pantun. The first pantun is pantun dahulu lah, means previously we have pantun in which we did not experience the COVID-19. Yeah, so the pantun is as shown in the slide. Aidilfitri bersalam-salaman berkunjung ke rumah rakan dan taulan. Beramai-ramai jamah jamuan duduk rapat senda gurauan. So that is the mood that we have when we celebrate any festive season, including the Hari Raya last time before COVID, in which we visited our friend's house, our relative house, and we sit close to one another. Even kita punya bahu ni berjumpa bahu. That was the time before we had this COVID-19, and then we tend to go for our favorite foods or juada, yeah, without waiting the turns. So that is the environment of those were the days lah, in which we don't have the COVID-19 experience. But nowadays, even though we are permitted to have open house to visit our relatives or friends' house, but we are subjected to follow some of the SOP. Yeah, so because of that, I came up with the new pantun lah, the latest one, which is Aidilfitri teks dikirimkan, SOP jangan dilupakan. Pakai mask ketika di keramaian, masa makan baru tanggalkan. Ada juga tu kawan-kawan yang terlupa buka mask, jadi bila orang makan tu kan ada blok di mulut orang tu. So there is some of the funny moments that we had celebrating Hari Raya nowadays lah, in which even though we are able to visit our relatives, our friend house, but we need to follow some of the SOP, standard operating procedures, in order to avoid the spreading of COVID-19. We are still in the pandemic at the end of pandemic era. Yeah, we are still at the end of the pandemic era of facing the COVID-19 threat. We are yet to enter the endemic era. What is the difference between pandemic and endemic? Pandemic means the virus is still there. Yeah, the threat is still there. That is what we mean by pandemic. When we come to the endemic stage, actually there's still a threat, but it's very minor threat. Yeah, and this threat can be can be cured. So that is the phase of endemic. So we are yet to enter the endemic because around the country, around global, there are still cases of COVID infection. Yeah. So this is the introduction. The reason why I share with you about the pantun, because for this week on topic number 6, we are talking about effective written communication. Partly the ideas of sharing the pantun with you all, that is part of effective written communication, in which through this pantun, yeah, if you observe every single words that I use, every single line that I wrote, actually it has meanings. Yeah, it has meaning, and there is less error in the words. So this is actually what effective written communication is all about, which we are going to learn in this topic number 6.